Good afternoon, friends.
Good afternoon, Dustin.
And for listening to my speech. Now, to start us off, can anyone make a guess what this is?
It's a blank piece of paper.
Blank piece of paper.
No, it's not a postage stamp. It's not an envelope. It's actually approximately 6/10 of a square foot, the average living space that a chicken raised in a factory farm has its entire life. Now, if you guys didn't know, America raises about 99% of its poultry in factory farms, 95% of its beef, and 75% of its pork, according to Foer in his book, his 2009 book, Eating Animals. So unless you've made significant efforts to do otherwise, you partake in this system. Now, I know that you guys all care about God's creation, and you know that I do as well. This is a problem that's very dear to my heart and something that I want to do something about, which is why I'm a vegetarian. And I've done a lot of research on the problem and solutions, so I hope that you'll listen to my speech today and get something out of it. Now, the problem at hand, factory farming is unethical, unstable, and there are simply better solutions that not only are more sustainable, but show that God values his creation. Factory farming is unstable, unethical, and unhealthy to everyone who takes part in it. Animals that are raised in these conditions are raised in very questionable situations. For example, the chickens that have very small living space, due to these close quarters, it prompts aggression, and that actually causes the handlers to have to cut off their beaks. Another very disturbing fact is that female sows who are used for birthing are kept in gestation crates their entire lives, only let out to have their young. What's more, this simply isn't the most effective way to grow food. More people could be fed if we didn't use so much meat. According to Philip Limbury, for every 100 calories consumed by livestock, you only get about 30 calories back in meat. He also details that 3 billion people could be fed with the crops that are fed to livestock. But the most scary fact of all is that factory farms could be producing the world's next super disease. Because these conditions are so unhealthy, animals need antibiotics just to live. According to Foer in Eating Animals, approximately 17 billion pounds of antibiotics are consumed by livestock every year. That means that bacteria are getting more resilient to them, and every next generation could be a super disease that we couldn't control. Fortunately, factory farms aren't our only option. There are many sustainable solutions that are better for the environment, their communities, and for the animals that are raised. Polyface Farms in Stanton, Virginia is a great example of these practices. They have very simple principles, such as nature's template, meaning that they get their principles from nature and not from factories. Also, they're very transparent. You can go by there and see them any time of year, and they have nothing to hide. But Polyface Farms isn't the only one doing this. Sustainable farming is actually an industry worth $7.3 billion every year, just in America, and $15.6 billion worldwide, according to the website Disturbing Facts About Factory Farming and Food Safety. What's more, these small farms have great environmental benefits and are better for their communities, with thriving communities, unlike large-scale farms that kind of seem to push out community. Philip Limbury also details that these systems, such as free range, have much greater animal welfare potential than the others. But not only are these sustainable solutions doable and better for everyone involved, they show God's value for his creation. We all know that God cares about his creation. It says in Matthew 6:26 that his eye is on the sparrow, and we see in the Psalms that he takes ownership for his creation. But also the Jewish principle of tikkun olam details that God wants to restore all things, and this isn't exclusive to humans, but inclusive of all its creation, including the animals. The best part about this is that when we show compassion to each other, or to any part of God's creation, we get to see his character firsthand. So when we use good animal welfare practices, we're not only getting to show compassion, but we get to see who God is through our own actions. So in conclusion, factory farming is an unethical and unstable system, and we simply have better sustainable solutions that are not only better for the environment and their communities and the animals that they raise, but also show God's care for his creation and his value of his creation. So thank you for your time. I hope that this was an informative speech and will help you in your future purchasing decisions. Good.
Salted pork.